Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, and really a most cordial welcome to the Attorney General, Loretta Lynch. I look forward to hearing the Attorney General's testimony about the needs of the Justice Department and its really impact on meeting the needs of the American people to be safe and to be secure. When we look at the many demands on the Department of Justice, they range from dealing with international efforts related to terrorism, the practices of organized crime, as much as drugs and cybersecurity. We really want to thank all of the people who work at the Justice Department, those who carry the guns and those who carry the Constitution. Actually, they all carry the Constitution there. And really to thank them for what their work that they do every day in every way. I know Senator Shelby and I are committed to regular order and trying to move this committee's appropriation, working also with Senator Cochran that we don't get into sequester or all of those big tensions at the end. So we look forward to hearing your testimony so that we can move it. I also want to particularly thank you on behalf of the citizens of Baltimore and for your leadership during our Baltimore uprisings. Your work with the elected leadership, law enforcement, community leaders, faith leaders was really enormously helpful. And for really helping provide us with the help of enforcing the law, living by law and order, but those who have to live by the law. A unique way of technical assistance was provided to us that helped our police department, but also helped our citizens, and now also help our citizens have confidence in the police department. We know we have a long road to go on that, but I want to particularly thank you as we try to rebuild the trust between police and communities they serve. And I know that this is being faced in other parts of the country. That's why in fiscal 16, working with Senator Shelby, we looked at how we could help modernize many of those efforts. So that's one issue. The other issue that I'm particularly interested in, and I know my colleagues, particularly Senator Shaheen, is the scourge of heroin in our communities. As I look here at the hearing, it's an excellent bipartisan attendance, and I would say that every single one of us is facing a heroin crisis in our state, whether it's rural states, urban states, et cetera. And we really need to come to grips with this. In my own home state last year, my state, 5.5 million people, we had over 578 heroin deaths. And this is just stunning. So whether we're rural, urban, or suburban, we just can't enforce our way out of this crisis. We need to break the cycle of addiction for drug users. We need to crack down on the big dealers and traffickers, and we also need to engage in preventive strategies. I know on February 2nd, the President announced a $1.1 billion in funding to tackle the heroin and opioid crisis, with most of the funding going to Health and Human Services and the Justice Department. We look forward to hearing from you on this. Also, we want to make sure that the FBI has the tools it needs, and we thank you for what has been going on to give them the physical facilities we need. But this committee and me believes that we do have to live by the Constitution. I know we'll be talking about guns in this hearing, and I support the Second Amendment. I also support the Fourth Amendment against unwarranted search and seizure. So I look forward to hearing how voluntarily we might be able to break through this Apple FBI standoff. And I also support Article 2, Section 2 of the Constitution that says that the President has the authority to nominate a Supreme Court justice up until his last day of office. Every day we count on the Justice Department to fulfill its vital mission. And I want you to know, again, I support all 1,115,000 employees, many of whom live in my home state of Maryland. So rather than me talking in more detail, we want to hear from you. But most of all, we really want to work on a bipartisan basis to keep America safe and keep it safe under a constitutional government. That completes my remarks.
Madam